In the Lake Mead, still searching for signs of spring this 15th day of February. Thus over halfway through the month now, and very little. Invasive grasses greening up. Some of the shrubs starting to green up. Not much has changed since previous footage. But I'm gonna spend a couple days here either way. And maybe run into some surprises. Maybe just get some exercise and enjoy the scenery. Still mostly a nature enjoyment trip out here. Ambrosia's just leafing out. Not much else going on. Pretty brown. Some nice rugged canyons up there though. I'm sure they require technical descent, so it'd be good to do sometime. It is pretty out here. I'll be heading that way towards the Echo Hills. Take a tour over to the Cathedral Ridge. And end up back where I started. Should be at least something going on, but I do believe it's more a function of such low rainfall. Even in the recent storms, I don't think this particular area got hammered very hard, so that's partly what's going on, and partly it's a little bit early. So shrubs are coming out reliably, but I don't see much annual growth at all, honestly. And you'd expect some higher frequencies of leaves at this point, I think. It is only my second spring here. Some of the eriogonums are coming back. And unfortunately, some of the annual grasses are coming back, but even those are rather toast, as you can see. Some of them are hit by a fungus, which could be a good sign. But how about those mustards? Those aren't coming back either, huh? How about those plantagos? Those aren't coming back yet either. So we'll see. Maybe it's some more rain on the way today, actually. It's getting cloudy in the south. And I don't think the fate of the annuals is quite sealed yet for this season, at least here. Definitely other parts of the Mojave have been getting more rain, so I think we'd have more luck in even further south in Nevada, just a little higher in elevation too. The mountains have been getting some decent precip, so not all is lost, and it's quite a landscape either way. I think there's lots of gypsum and maybe even some badlands. You see some of that later today down there. Going to tread lightly here because I have run into some gypsum and something quite special in Coleopsis. Gypsum endemics. Coming back to life. Look at the green. Goodness, I hope I see them in flower before my park pass expires at the end of this month. I'll be back. How about that? They can almost become arborescent, somewhat in the manner of the tree senecio. some other tall ones nearby. Boy, had a feeling I might run into it. Got another gypsum endemic. It's a good thing these are protected in the Lake Mead, isn't it? That's Arctomicon, or Arctomicon. I think the common name is bear claw poppy. The asters and poppies, endemic to these loose substrates. Wow, look at how furry it is. More prickly higher up, are old fruits. There's some gypsum. And here's a gypsum endemic, astragalus. Got 3 endemics livening up for the spring on the gypsum. Why are they going off earlier than everyone else? Not that the poppies and Coleopsis are blooming yet, but they are greening up big time. They'll be blooming in days. Whereas everything else is just drab as can be, really. A little too early, a little too dry. Gypsum is off the charts in some places. The thing about the gypsum is it allows some of the more widespread and common species to still occur, such as Eriogonum inflatum. But for the gypsum endemics, they can't tolerate the same habitats as the more widespread species can. Dead one. Hope not. They're pretty common where the gypsum does occur, though. That's a good thing. They're not rare on the gypsum, these endemics. Very interesting Mars-scape out here. Gypsum makes it even more barren. Over here, without gypsum, you can see it's a lot more lush. Although nothing's really growing here yet. Unlike on the gypsum where things are growing, these atriplex are growing. They're starting to flower. Haven't seen any in flower yet. Compared to the gypsum, this is a rainforest. Found an entire gypsum plain more ahead. Still quite gypsumy. Actually straight outside of the park boundary, so some of this stuff is not protected. Something to keep in mind for policymakers and land managers of the future, because things like that need a chance too. Just like cows and dogs and people have a really great chance right now. Though some of these days don't seem that great for people either. Here is the bitter spring. Still drinkable because there's lots of horse poop around. It's actually flowing. Incredible. Did not think I would see that. Some pookie I hear. Mesquites are in leaf. Feels more like spring here with the moisture. Some pookie out there. Someone needs to come work on this tamarix. And they're reproducing out here. Day's over, so hope we see more interesting stuff tomorrow. Heading back down to Echo Bay now. Things are pretty lifeless in the higher elevations. Not even the ambrosia's really leafing out yet up here. Although some of the Eriogonum shrub life and some other things are just starting to leaf out, spheralcias, but obviously it's quite hit or miss, and it's mostly miss. Even as I descend to Echo Bay, springtime still isn't really becoming apparent. Just a little bit of green. In terms of annuals, bromus coming up. 0% of it in flower. Just ahead of me is marked water on the map, the GPS. Water of Lake Mead, of course. Yet its levels are so low, especially these days, that I don't see any water ahead, and I'm gonna see how far down Echo Canyon it's called I can actually walk until I reach water. Might be right up to the shore where my car's parked currently. So it appears that Echo Canyon is becoming Echo Canyon once again after the jamming of the Colorado at the Hoover. So all this marked as blue water on the map, on the GPS, on the Gypsum. And in my ignorance, I have no clue when water was last present in this particular wash, particular canyon. But it appears to have been a long time now. Something really big and green ahead. You think it is a tamarix, probably? Of course it's a tamarix. Side by side with a mesquite. I mean, the Park Service is right there. Why don't they? Can you see the big palm trees? They're literally right there. Why can't they do something about that? really unfortunate effect of the retraction of the lake has been ecologically here is you can think of that as one widespread massive disturbance event, and big fields of invasive weeds paralleling this entire wash and found within parts of the wash. See all that brown dense cover over there. As you've probably kind of realized by now without me saying it, the Mojave doesn't form grasslands or dense intershrub vegetation cover on its own, and that's a massive fire problem because this place isn't really supposed to burn either. But look at all that dry fuel set up courtesy of Eurasia to burn the heck out of this place, and that's exactly what probably happens from time to time, especially with campers so close by. Very tragic. Because, what is there to do about it at this point? And it's greening back up. Not forget the aberrant grill. Basically back at the car, still no water. Lots of old mooring equipment and cinder blocks and such, signifying the former presence of the lake line nearby. All that stuff is long uprooted from floods and such. So, this is it for now.